Mild spoiler warning for this video. Everyone enjoys a good scare or two, or maybe you don't, and I somehow made it to your recommended. Either way, we'll be looking at 5 indie horror games that slap if you like a good scare. This is not a tier list either because I don't like the comment drama, so everybody calm down. First up, at number 5, we have the Mortuary Assistant. I'm sure everyone has seen at least something on this from all the hype, but if you haven't experienced it for yourself, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're into pissing yourself. The Mortuary Assistant starts out with a little information about our main character, Rebecca Owens, who has started a new life for herself after falling into a depression following the death of her father. You play as Rebecca, who has just graduated from mortician school, as she goes to take a job for an odd fella named Raymond at his morgue. Things kick off pretty slow with a tutorial, and this is where we first meet Raymond. Don't expect to see him much though. After the tutorial, Raymond will send you home telling you he will get back with you. Raymond calls you the next night needing someone to come in at the last minute or he isn't feeling well. Typical job stuff. Anyways, you accept and head down to the morgue. Upon entering, Raymond calls again, but on the morgue phone to tell you, hey, you're pretty much screwed. There's some spooky stuff going on in there. Nah, but all jokes aside, he does tell you that a possession has started and you can't leave. He tells you to treat everything like normal, and that's where the game begins. Basically, you're on a time limit with 3 bodies to embalm, but also you have to use your head to see what body the demon has bonded itself with. And while all this goes on, you're bombarded with like a ridiculous amount of interactions from like this little mimic dude and some old hag, along with some others. And when you think you have the timing of these interactions down, you're just wrong. I mostly play horror games, and this one definitely made me leak a little. You can get this game on Steam for about $25. At number 4, we have From the Darkness. This game is very atmospheric, which is really what got it to the list. It's very unnerving and kept me on edge. I'm pulling straight from the dev notes to give you a better understanding of what this game really is about, because I can't really explain it myself. So most of the time, you have to walk and explore an abandoned apartment of your deceased grandfather because you came for an old family album. But strange things begin to happen in the apartment. The one who lives in darkness will not let you go so easily. Does that sound spooky to you? Maybe not in words, but don't let that stop you from experiencing this great horror adventure. The visuals are not groundbreaking, but the developers made this cramped apartment and used lighting to the max to make this game just absolutely horrifying. The jump scares are solid, but that's not really what's going to get you. It's the feeling of not knowing what the hell's in the shadows that really drives this game home. The sounds in this game really made me feel unsafe in my own home, like too real for a game. The whole experience of this is about an hour, but it probably took me an extra 30 minutes from all the time needing a break from all the sounds. Try this game out, it definitely deserves the attention. It's on Steam for around $7. At number 3, we have Bloodwash. This game is awesome for any retro VHS type fans. It's been out for a while, but I'm sure there's someone who hasn't given it a shot yet. Maybe it's on your wish list, Kevin. Just do it, man. It's been there over a year. Just send it, dude. Anyways, this one isn't the scariest, but makes up for it for very unnerving art style with a PS1-like graphics. It's nice and nostalgic. You play as a woman named Sarah who desperately needs her clothes washed for an interview the next day, but the apartment washer is broken, so you have to go to the laundromat on the other side of town at midnight alone with a serial killer on the loose. Yeah, use your head on that one. The pace of this game is very nice. You get a good bit of investigation along with some intensity, mostly checking out strange noises and talking to NPCs, although you can pretty much skip most of the game's content if you just decide to wait for your clothes to get done. If you choose this option, you won't really get to appreciate the game for what it is. You'll still have most of the content, but you'll miss out on some really fun encounters. The voice acting is definitely done very well for something like this. Definitely expect that, but definitely adds a plus to the whole thing. It's been a couple months since I've actually played the game, other than this recording, and has definitely been one of the more memorable indie horror games out there for me, just from the experience. Make sure you check it out. It's a great game. It's fairly cheap at $9 over on Steam. Down at number 2, we have Summer of 58. First of all, to use sacks of shit's refunding, I hate you. Stop. This developer has potential, and you're shitting on their dream. Anyways, back to game talk. Summer of 58 is an awesome horror experience. It feels shorter than what it is for some reason. Maybe it was just me enjoying the game. I don't know. You play as Alex Morton, a video blogger that films all things paranormal. His subscribers send him to a pioneer camp known as Eunice. It was a place where parents left their children for the summer until the summer of 58. That's when shit started to go down. All residents and camp counselors were killed supposedly by a kid, but when accused, he disappeared and the camp was forced to shut down. It was reported by locals that it was cursed by the dead, so you arrive and set up camp inside this daycare and start investigating, and buddy, the shit hit the fan. The graphics in this are awesome for what it is. It's more of you being in night vision on a camera, but it's done well. Very spooky, very atmospheric. The scares can be somewhat predictable, but will make you jump or pee a little. The ambience isn't my favorite, but it's not bad either. Like you hear something and you feel okay to just go see what it is, at least in my experience. All around solid experience, and can be got on Steam for $9, and there'll be an ass and refund it like the rest of the shits. Support small developers, it's worth it, and I'm sure their next game will be awesome. And at number 1, it's MADiSON. Dude, this game is not for the weak. This will have you leaving streaks for real. You play as Luca, who has to continue a very gory ritual that started decades before by the demon MADiSON. And it starts out as you wake up in a strange room locked up, like with blood on your hands, with your dad outside screaming and crying. Yeah. There's no prelogue or any backstory. It's just straight to it. You make your way to a different room through a hole in the wall, and you enter some other weird room with a chair in it. And then in the middle of the chair, it has a camera on it. And this camera is literally the whole game. Camera controls most things you do, like solving puzzles or other things. I'm gonna shut up. You're just gonna have to play it. It's horrific. Unless you have heart problems, then hit that U-turn and refund it, brother. It ain't for you. This game's graphics are great. There are a lot of darker spaces that make you use the camera for illumination, making everything feel like hell. You almost get scared to even use the camera at most times. If you can't see it, it ain't there. That's the way I think. The audio will have your heart in your stomach, just with the thumps and the stomps and the random door creak, but nothing being there. I'm telling you, dude. Strap in. This is over 6 hours of gameplay, and everything in it will have you on edge, if not pissing yourself. I will admit the puzzles are quite tedious, and you'll find yourself lost, but don't give up. If you like the feeling of being scared, it will definitely be worth it. This game is pretty steep at $35, but the $35 was well spent to me. It was a great game. And that concludes 5 absolute banger indie horror games. Make sure you check them all out if you haven't yet. They're great games. Also, make sure to subscribe and let me know if you want more lists like this. If you'd like to see me play games like these, come visit me at my Twitch at twitch.tv/Spanksy. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.